You spoken to Daniel since the defeat?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't spoken to Daniel or my dad since March, and that's a while now. So he's a quitter. He busted his. I don't know, man. Boxing is so crazy. Like, there's people who get in the ring and they stay in the ring, and God forbid, and it's so terrible. But
Caroline Dubois didn't pull any punches, literally or figuratively, after her brother Daniel suffered yet another devastating defeat at the hands of Oleksandr Usyk. Caroline went on an explosive tirade that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Her scathing comments painted a brutal picture of a fighter who, in her eyes, not only lost a fight but disgraced the Dubois family name. She called out Daniel's lack of heart, killer instinct.
There's no pretend. The man is supremely talented, but time and season is everything in the sport.
And mental grit, igniting one of the most emotionally charged family controversies the sport has seen in years. Her words weren't just criticism, they were a public dismantling, and it didn't take long for the internet to erupt. Some fans praised her brutal honesty, saying she spoke what the boxing world had been whispering. Others saw it as betrayal, arguing that no family...
Usyk is a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal athlete. To move up in weight, to become undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, that speaks of his talent. You know, you can't fake that. You can't...
Family member should throw another under the bus, no matter how painful the loss. But regardless of which side you're on, there's no denying the impact of her words. Caroline turned Daniel's defeat into something much bigger, an indictment on his character, legacy, and future. Just when you thought she was done, Caroline flipped.
Fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say I've quit. It's not horrific to say I'm quit. I'm chairman of the quit committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway. He quit, yeah, he did.
The script in savage fashion by praising Usyk. She called him phenomenal, giving the Ukrainian champion credit in a way that many saw as backhanded towards her own brother. She admired Usyk's calm under fire, his brilliance in the ring, and his mental strength, traits she clearly believes Daniel lacks. With every compliment she gave Usyk, it became clearer that she was contrasting his championship pedigree with Daniel's perspective.
Yeah, man, he quit. I don't understand. You know, they were supposed to train him different. They did not. I mean, like, it's big time. It was set for him to win it. You know, it was set for him to win it. You know, when I went to graduate, he said, "How you feel?" You know, Don Child goes to me, "Oh, go suck your best friend's dick."
Received psychological collapse. In doing so, she didn't just elevate Usyk, she dragged Daniel further down. Her admiration for Usyk came off like a eulogy for her brother's career, making fans view Daniel's performance not just as a loss, but as a career-defining moment of failure. It wasn't just Usyk beating Daniel, it was Usyk exposing everything Daniel wasn't. But Caroline wasn't alone in her brutal assessment. Dave Allen, known for his raw and unfiltered take.
Someone that's going to be remembered for the rest of history. You take your hat out to him, that's all you can do. Just now. Oh,
delivered a verbal haymaker of his own. In a candid live interview, Allen didn't mince words. He labeled Daniel a quitter and even mocked him, recalling how Dubois casually walked past Usyk after the fight like nothing had happened, despite surrendering in the middle of a world title bout. Allen's tone was harsh, his words unforgiving, and yet they echoed the sentiment that was rapidly spreading across boxing circles. Daniel Dubois didn't just lose, he folded. That perception is now haunting Daniel. Fans, analysts...
No, I thought it could be dominating. I thought he was doing the things that I think Dubois did what I expected him to do, and Usyk did what I expected him to do. You know, he controlled, moved, waited, but then he started landing hard. And
former fighters are questioning whether he mentally checked out once the pressure ramped up. Was it exhaustion, injury, or something more concerning, a lack of fighting spirit when the moment demanded warrior instincts? Derek Chisora certainly had no sympathy to offer. In true Chisora fashion, he went in guns blazing. He slammed Dubois for quitting and didn't hesitate to put some blame on Daniel's camp for failing to mentally prepare their fighter. For Chisora, this was more than just another loss. It was a missed opportunity for greatness. He believes Daniel had the platform, the spotlight, and the chance to rise. But when the lights were brightest, Dubois crumbled. In Chisora's words, real champions train and think like killers. No excuses, no soft mindset, and Dubois, in his eyes, didn't live up to that standard. Fans exploded online. Some rallied behind Chisora's raw, no-nonsense breakdown. Others rushed to Dubois' defense, suggesting Chisora was being too harsh.
Was under pressure in the first round because Dubois comes out fast like he did against AJ, and if he catches you, you're in trouble. And I think just after that, he just decided basically, I'm not going to go on the back foot anymore. I'm going to take the fight to Dubois. And he just kind of beat him up. And obviously stops him. I mean, he's beaten AJ twice, Fury twice, Dubois twice.
On a young fighter still trying to find his place among the elite. But the conversation quickly turned into something bigger than just one loss. It became a referendum on whether Daniel Dubois even belongs in the same conversation as the heavyweight elite. And just when the heat couldn't get any more intense, Chisora doubled down. He unleashed a warning for Dubois that bordered on prophetic. Champions, he said, don't need coddling. They need a cold, brutal mirror. The kind Caroline just held up to Daniel. The question that lingers, is this tough love from battle-hardened warrior, or a brutal dissection of a fighter who never had that it factor to begin with? Russ Anber, the veteran trainer and cutman, offered a more analytical viewpoint, though no less devastating in its implication. He dissected Usyk's performance and pointed out why age hasn't dulled the Ukrainian maestro in the slightest. To him, Usyk continues to defy the clock because his brilliance lies.
In relation to Usyk, amazing. No one was expecting that. But I said it before the fight. I said the ball will get knocked out around 4 or 5. He will never pass 5 rounds. So because I said it, if he wanted to keep the same style that he fought with Usyk will knock him out easy. But if he changed some couple of stuff, he would done well. But no, sorry to him, and it happened to. Happened today. One punch in heavyweight can change.
Lies in his IQ, timing, and discipline, not just raw physicality. Anber's analysis carried an undertone that cut deep. While Usyk evolves, adapts, and conquers, Dubois stagnates. Eddie Hearn, always articulate, summed up the sentiment that fans were starting to embrace. He noted how Daniel brought early aggression, just like he did against AJ, but then quickly faded once Usyk began adjusting. Hearn painted a picture of a man out of his depth. He described it not just as a loss in the ring, but a mismatch in mental toughness. Usyk, he said, has now outclassed Joshua twice, outmaneuvered Fury, and dismantled Dubois, and he did it all with surgical precision. That's not luck, that's legacy. For Dubois, Hearn's words are painful. Not only did he lose, but he became another footnote in Usyk's ever-expanding resume, a name on the list of the fallen, someone who thought they had the answers, only to be unraveled and outgunned. Social media
phenomenal, best heavyweight there is currently, and I don't see anybody beating him.
Is he as good as Muhammad Ali? It's not a crazy thing to say, I don't think, at this point.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't really do the comparisons, do you know what I mean? But I do think he's one of the best currently now to do it.
Who do you want to see Usyk fight next, or just sail off?
He can sail off into the sunset, and he's done everything. Do you know what I mean? He's phenomenal fighter, man. You're watching him, I'm just watching him, I'm going, oh my God. Like, that's God-given talent.
Amplified this narrative to deafening levels. Dubois was being criticized not for losing, but for the manner in which he lost. Analysts and fans alike noted that once Usyk switched gears, Dubois couldn't adapt. He didn't have a second plan, a fallback, or the resilience to stay in the trench. The idea that Dubois' camp overestimated his readiness became widely accepted. Then came Martin Bakole. The Congolese heavyweight didn't just critique, he predicted. Before the bout, Bakole confidently said Dubois wouldn't survive past round 5. That prediction came true, and Bakole wasn't shy about it. For many fans, it felt like prophecy. For others, it felt like a burial. Bakole wasn't just talking about one fight. He was highlighting what he and others have long seen, that Daniel Dubois can punch. Yes, but when pushed into deep waters...
Listen, he was unbelievable. He was on form today. He boxed great. He did the right things. He was counter-punching, and he was moving well, and he wasn't getting caught. And he started off with a jab, so...
He sinks. Usyk didn't even seem pushed, let alone tested. The Ukrainian made it look like a sparring session. Another calculated demolition of a man who talked big but couldn't back it up under pressure. And now, Dubois carries a label no heavyweight wants. A 5-round fighter. It's a brutal stigma, and one that might follow him for years, unless he can change the narrative. Meanwhile, Conor Benn poured gasoline on the fire with a jaw-dropping comparison. He likened Usyk's dominance to Muhammad Ali's. For some fans, that was pure blasphemy. For others, it was long overdue respect. Ben's point wasn't that Usyk is Ali, but that his discipline, resume, and technical mastery in a golden era of heavyweights put him in the orbit of greatness. But for Dubois fans, the timing of Ben's remarks was a dagger. While Usyk's name is being mentioned alongside legends, Daniels is trending for all the...
I'm speechless. I usually got a lot to say. I'm speechless. The fight ended in round 4, and we got conned out.
Wrong reasons. Quitter, exposed, outclassed. Instead of being the man who challenged greatness, Dubois became the man who highlighted it by contrast. Then Lennox Lewis entered the chat, and when Lennox speaks, the boxing world listens. The former heavyweight king called Usyk unbelievable, praising everything from his movement to his precision and composure. Lewis saw in Usyk the qualities that made himself a legend. That kind of praise from a Hall of Famer doesn't just build legacy, it cements it. And again, Daniel was nowhere in that praise. His effort, his grit, his resolve, none of it was mentioned. Fans compared Usyk's brilliance to Dubois' lackluster performance. One looked like a master in control, the other, a deer caught in headlights. Don Charles, usually measured in his takes, was left speechless watching Daniel's performance. His stunned silence spoke volumes. While Usyk's win wasn't shocking, the manner of Daniel's mental breakdown was.
Parker's deserved his shot. I think Parker should get a world title fight regardless, even if Usyk vacates the belts.
Hands off. Usyk fought like a heavyweight, not a cruiserweight in there tonight.
Yep, no, he did. He stood on business, man. He stood on business, and he said he was going to knock Dubois out, and he done it.
Caroline Dubois's earlier comments began to feel less like harsh criticism and more like cold truth. She saw the lack of fire, and now the world had witnessed it too. Hamza Shiraz then joined the chorus, praising Usyk's killer instinct while subtly shading Dubois. He didn't have to name names. His admiration for Usyk's mindset said it all. In his eyes, Usyk showed what elite fighters look like during fight week, focused, driven, and lethal. And by contrast, Dubois came off as a man unprepared for the magnitude of the moment. Shiraz's comments hit hard because they matched Caroline's words almost word for word. It's that killer instinct, that inner fire that separates champions from contenders. And Daniel, in the eyes of many, lacked it. Fans have rallied around Caroline's brutal honesty. Some call her...
He's the best of our generation by far. He has to be. He's beat everybody. He's literally beat everybody. You could say he's not beat Wiley. You could say it's Thomas, still to come, Parker. He's beat everybody. Daniel Dubois, for me, Daniel Dubois was poor tonight. I know we're not getting onto that yet, but he was poor tonight. But he's beat Fury twice. He's beat Joshua twice. He mopped up at cruiserweight. He's done it all. Yeah, there's nothing really much else to add. He's one of the best of...
Disloyal, but others see her as brave, finally saying what needed to be said. In a sport where sugarcoating often does more harm than good, her directness may be the only path toward redemption for Daniel. Dave Allen wrapped up the media slaughter with perhaps the most damning summary yet. He labeled Usyk the best of our generation and buried Dubois in the same breath, calling his performance poor and devoid of championship resolve. Allen didn't try to protect Daniel's feelings. He just called it as he saw it. And so, Caroline's early eruption now seems prophetic. What once sounded like rage now feels like realism. Her comments, brutal, raw, and unfiltered, have reshaped the conversation. Dubois didn't just lose a fight, he lost the benefit of the doubt. The Dubois name, once associated with promise and potential, is now under fire. The gloves are off. Even within the family, Caroline's voice has become the centerpiece of a public reckoning, forcing fans, pundits, and Daniel himself to confront uncomfortable truths. So here we are. The question that now haunts the British boxing scene: can Daniel Dubois rise from this, silencing the critics and proving he belongs on the world stage? Or has Oleksandr Usyk, with one masterclass, broken more than just Daniel's body? Has he shattered his spirit for good? Caroline thinks the latter. Do you? Was she brave for telling the truth, or did she go too far? Sound off in the comments and let your voice be heard. This firestorm is just beginning.